US President Donald Trump reiterated that there is no going back from this. Trump said that there is no chance for Canada to ever tariffs and make a deal with the United States. That will not happen is what Donald Trump has asserted in very strong words there. Canada should start building own things in the US, says the US President. Now, in response to Trump's trade war, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has threatened America with reciprocal tariffs. Trudeau said that he will impose 25% tariffs against 155 billion of American goods, and it will remain in place until Trump withdraws their tariffs.
Very importantly, tomorrow tariffs 25% on Canada and 25% on Mexico, and that'll start. So they're going to have a tariff. So what they have to do is build their car plants, frankly, and other things in the United States, in which case they have no tariffs.
The facts establish very clearly that Canada is not an issue in terms of source of illegal fentanyl into the United States. We had about less than 1% when we first started talking about this many months ago. That number is significantly lower than that, even now. But we all know the American administration will make its own choices in terms of tariffs. We will continue to work to ensure, to do everything we can to make sure that there are no tariffs on Tuesday. But if ever there were tariffs on Tuesday, as we have all seen, as we were ready to do last time, we will have a strong, unequivocal, and proportional response as Canadians expect.
Over a month ago, I called on the government to immediately, 1, repeal the Liberal No New Pipelines Law C-69, a law that has blocked mines, pipelines, power dams, LNG plants that would make us more independent from the United States. 2, immediately convene premiers to remove, not talk about removing, but remove exemptions in the Canadian Free Trade Deal so Canadians can trade between provinces. If we were to axe the federal sales tax and get a deal with provinces and municipalities to take their taxes off, we could build hundreds of thousands of extra homes, creating jobs for our tradespeople and boosting demand for our domestic lumber that President Trump is threatening and that President Biden already tariffed. Despite asking for all of these things over a month ago, nothing has happened. The Liberals have done precisely nothing in the last month to make us less reliant on the Americans.
I'm going to go straight across to Shashank Mattu, getting in more details on that story at this point in time. Shashank, reciprocal action has been promised by Canada, which is not backing down at this point in time.
No, not at all. The Canadians have made very clear right from the beginning that they are not going to be bullied by the Americans on this matter. They've said that we will slap tariffs on $155 billion worth of American goods. If you read the statement coming out of the Canadian Prime Minister's office, it implicitly implies an economic threat, saying that if you put tariffs on our goods, we will put tariffs on your goods. That will lead to a loss in American jobs. It will lead to a loss in for American consumers, and it will lead to an increase in inflation, all three things that you absolutely do not want. And that is an economic threat made explicitly in the Canadian Prime Minister's statement, a clear message to the Americans that they're not going to, that the Canadians are not going to be backing down. They're saying that, look, we have given you everything you asked for. Donald Trump himself renegotiated the trade agreement between America and Canada around 7 years ago. He asked for more action on drugs crossing the borders, which Canada delivered. And now these tariffs have been placed anyway. So the Canadians are offended that this has happened, and they're going to push back very, very strongly. But they've also left some room open for negotiations. They've said that we will only place tariffs on $30 billion worth of goods right now, and tariffs on the much larger $100 billion will kick in a couple of weeks. So that gives time for both sides to sit down and hammer out some sort of compromise.
Shashank, I'm going to thank you for the moment. Shashank Mattu getting in those details and putting that big story into perspective.